While I'm recording, we have this big truck going down our lane and it created a traffic jam. This is a traffic jam where we live. How many motorcycles behind? We're stuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 motorcycles were stuck behind that truck as it creeped down the little dirt road. So that's a traffic jam where we live. Just a side note.
We are the Filipino and the foreigner.
So I'm trying to show you the cell tower that is very close to where we are right now. Internet in the Philippines, I don't know if you can see it, but again, the tower is right here. The tower is just up about right here, close to me. I was mentioning that tower for good cell phone coverage or internet router cell phone coverage, where you can put the SIM card in the router, like we have that as a backup. It's worth really considering the whole idea of internet in the Philippines when you're coming. Back home, and at least in North America, it's kind of taken for granted. You're going to pay a certain fee every month, and depending on which company you go with, you have a nice stable internet connection which you pay for all the time, and it works just great. You don't even think too much about it. You move to a new place, you just get a new internet plan, a new company, and it pretty much works, pretty well. Here, depending on where you are and the different circumstances, it could be up and down like night and day. So now, fortunately, or blessed for us, we're in a good spot here, but I have better internet here than I had at home. That's a plus. But maybe you want to consider the different ways, especially if you're doing like a remote position and you're traveling and you have to stay connected with your remote position. You want to have some different backup plans in place. So if that's the case, if you're traveling as a remote worker in different countries, and you're staying in the Philippines for a while, I guess it applies for all the countries. I would maybe, if you're staying for a long while, make sure you position yourself in a city that has reputable internet. Do a little bit of research. For example, Davao City in Mindanao is one of those. They have pretty good internet, pretty solid. And that's been our experience too when in Davao. So get a good, reputable company in a nice solid city like Davao or other cities like it. Just research. Then, as a backup, have something like either a phone with a SIM card that's close to a cell tower. So that's another good option to remember. Be close to a cell tower with your phone. Have a good SIM plan, and as well have the SIM card router, which is a router for put your SIM card in the router, and you got internet to take with you wherever you go, because you can unplug it, put it into a power bank even, and get yourself close to a tower, a cell tower, and that can save you for work as well, and probably even provide your full remote job existence on the internet, depending on what you do exactly. So these are all good things to remember. You get a place with a cell tower fairly close like that, there are internet options over here available that I think are phenomenal. For example, we just got this additional plan that's it's called, I think, Globe Home or something like that, Home Globe Plan or something, but it's an additional to our regular Wi-Fi. It's kind of a backup that sometimes you might need a backup, or maybe if you're just doing some general surfing or regular surfing, nothing too strenuous, it could just get you by entirely. So, but you kind of want to be close to one of these cell towers, so that's why I'm showing like it's good to think of these things if you're moving here. And this is another good suggestion for internet. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because usually, like when internet goes down or internet companies go down, like your general wireless companies, these cell towers always stay up. If you notice, like people can still use their phone because they're connected to like the cell tower. So if you get one of these plans, like I'm mentioning, there's a chance that when regular internet Wi-Fi goes down, you'll still have your internet plan. And I'm not talking just about phones here, but it's a little router that we got, and you put a SIM card in the router, and I think we have something like 170 something gigs per month with that plan, and it's only like in Canadian dollars, like $25 a month, about $25 a month for about 170 plus gigs for the month. And then of course if that runs out, you can also pay another 25 bucks Canadian. So in US it's a lot less, of course, maybe what, $20 or $19 US a month, and get another 170 gigs. So you can keep going with that, which is very low, I think, because when I was back home in North America, my regular internet, which was just okay, it wasn't fantastic, it was okay, I was paying $130 a month for it. And the good thing about this one with the cell tower is that of course you can unplug it and plug it in almost anywhere, pretty much anywhere you go. And if you have a battery bank, just plug it into the battery bank and you got a mobile internet plan with you. You got a router and everything. You know, you can take the Ethernet cord, plug it into another router and share it on another router even. Getting a bit complex, I guess, but there's a lot of potential with it, and I really like the price of only about like say about 19 or 20 US dollars a month, and you get 170 gigs. You run out of that, you just renew it again. It's just fantastic. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling on about that, but it's very important because when you're trying to settle and have good solid internet, that's a good way to go. Now, I guess the downside, if you want to look at pros and cons, well, those were a lot of the pros, but a con is that the speed is not the greatest. The highest I managed to get on the speed so far with that plan was about, I think, 25 gigabits per second. I think that was the highest I got so far, and the lowest has been down around 7 or 8 gigabits per second. So that's the thing, and it has a lot to do where you position the router and how close you are to that tower, like I'm showing you there. So these are some more things to consider. And on one of my other videos, I did mention, as a foreigner, if you're coming, I would suggest, especially if you're traveling to other countries as well and doing some remote connectivity with your job, getting Airalo. And I mentioned a whole video on that before, so you may want to check that out. But that's really great for consistently having internet wherever you are. You may pay a little bit more. I think I'm just paying like, I don't know, 13 US per month, so I can make sure I have internet on whatever device I have, as long as you have an eSIM. And that's the important thing with Airalo, you have to have an eSIM, so that's another good backup for you. So I guess the point of this little video talking about internet in the Philippines and internet in other countries surrounding the Philippines is to make sure you check out all the different options available for your internet, and make sure you've got the backups, especially doing the remote work. You want to make sure you have some backup plans in place. Of course, Starlink, that's a well-known one now. A lot of people getting Starlink, and you know that they provide different options as well. You can have the Starlink remote and take it wherever you go, but you know, you've got that dish to take with you as well. So I think the better option, rather than Starlink, well, I guess depending on the kind of speed you need, would be to go with the phone tower, the cell tower, and a cell router, like I was mentioning that we have as well. And then just get yourself next to or close to a cell tower and have that cell SIM card router, whatever you want to call it. Ours is the Globe at Home, but you get different versions of it, of course. And that way, the cell towers generally don't go down, and you always have internet. And I think it's probably even better than Starlink, as long as you're close to a cell tower. Now, the Starlink speeds, of course, would probably be much better in a general sense, but you can still, you know, depending on, I think if the weather is really bad, lose your coverage with Starlink. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think if there's like a lot of stormy weather, the Starlink could be interrupted, whereas the cell phone coverage usually is pretty good if you're pretty close to it. So these are just some things I'm trying to, I guess, put out there for you to really think about. Make sure you're really backed up with your internet, with your remote positioning job for all the different countries you go. But Airalo, I think, is a must if you're traveling between different countries and you want to make sure you have internet without hassle. I would definitely recommend Airalo. I have it, I use it all the time, I keep it connected. I actually have it auto renewed every month, so I know I always have internet on something, which currently I have it on my iPad mini, which has an eSIM, because you do need eSIM. So anyway, some thoughts to consider with internet and traveling, Philippines, other countries as well. And just interjecting some beautiful countryside here in the Philippines, because it's part of the reason that makes it all worthwhile is just the beautiful country scenery around here. Some more nice views right here. If you can see down in the field, they call it a cow, I think, but it's not like a cow I'm used to. So this is the little antenna. If you can see it right there, I got it stuck. It's a magnetic antenna for our cell phone router. We call it that. The cell phone, the SIM card router, I guess I should say, the SIM card router. So that antenna can be extended, and all this comes with it. This cord comes in here. We have it just put up on our cupboard up here, so it's a little hard to see. That's our SIM card router.
I hope you enjoy watching our videos. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we really appreciate if you take time to watch and subscribe. Thank you and God bless.